Hello everyone, welcome to Durrett's Take. Let's get started. A lot I want to go over. So let's go over the recent college football rankings from last night. So the top six didn't change as expected, and I'm fine with that for right now. However, with the cancellation of the Ohio State-Michigan game, if the Big Ten doesn't change the rules, and if Ohio State doesn't play into the game, I feel they shouldn't be in the playoff discussion because, as I said last week, got to play at least half a season's worth to get a enough evaluation, which equates to 6 games to qualify, in my opinion. Now, obviously, if a bunch of teams like if Clemson loses and they're out of the picture, and Florida loses, they're out of the picture, and Texas A&M gets upset in their last game or something like that, then obviously Ohio State can get in. But as presently constructed, that's how I feel. Um, Now, what's interesting is who's at number 7. So I thought the top 10 would be the same basically, but nope. 2 loss Iowa State jumps to 7th. That means they jumped both over Georgia and undefeated Cincinnati. I know Iowa State has had a dominant performance over a mediocre team with a good defense, with a very good defense for Big 12 standards. But this is an overreaction here. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. Georgia and Cincinnati did nothing this past week to make you think, oh, they should be dropped. They just had games canceled. So I feel like if Iowa State, if they win the Big 12 and it's decisively, then okay, yeah, you can jump them a couple above other teams, but I would have waited till then, not now, to do it because that's just a knee jerk overreaction thing. Um, and for Cincinnati fans, yeah, you guys are definitely not making the playoffs. I feel bad for you guys. It's just like at this point, no group of 5 teams ever gonna make the playoffs unless the playoffs expand, which is unfortunate. And then Miami rounds out top 10, which is fine. We'll see if they survive UNC. Oklahoma's still 11, fine. Indiana 12, fine. Some people say they should be higher, but think about it. So they got a win against Wisconsin, but Wisconsin's not ranked anymore. So therefore, that's not a top 24 win. I think that's still a good win, obviously. It was on the road stuff, so it's a good win, but not a top 25 win. And then the other ones are against Michigan, losing record, Penn State, losing record, Rutgers, losing record, stuff like that. So that's why they're still at 12. Although don't cut them out yet, they can still definitely be in the New Year's Six discussion if they went out. And then let's see, Coastal Carolina's 13. They just take BYU's spot. I think you could make a case they actually should be higher because they have two top 25 wins, and you can get there by beating Louisiana again. And Louisiana might actually stay ranked because they beat Iowa State. That's why they're ranked as high as 19, despite having 1 loss as a group of 5. Because think about it. So yeah, Coastal Carolina, as I just said, has 2 top 25 wins. Indiana has none. Miami, just 1. Georgia, none. Auburn's not ranked anymore, so none. And Cincinnati, the group of 5, everything's best group of 5, they have none. Now they get to play a top 25 team in their American Conference Championship game, but at 24th they beat the 24th team. They're going to fall out of the top 25. So basically, they're not going to have anything. So that's why you can make the case, and some people think they should be a little bit higher. I feel like they should be a little bit higher, but I understand why they put them at 13. It's just because they're disrespecting G5 teams. Let's see, Northwestern stays the same at 14, fine. USC now jumps to 15. I think this is by default because the Pac-12 is so horrible. A bunch of teams are beating up on each other. So USC and Colorado are the only 2 undefeated teams left, and now those two, you think, okay, USC is more dominant and they're the bigger brand, so I'm gonna have them be ranked that higher than the Colorado, for example. But if USC, if they can stop squeaking the lids and start putting in more dominant performance like they did against Washington State and they undefeated Pac-12 champs, they're easily going to make the New Year's Six bowl game. See, Iowa 16th, fine, you already know. I think North Carolina's a little bit too high, but if they beat Miami, then it's validated. And if not, then they'll jump out. BYU is now 18th, so literally Coastal Carolina BYU just swaps places, and I'll talk about BYU later. Let's see, 19 is Louisiana, fine with me. Texas is 20th. Interesting how they're the second highest ranked 3-loss team. I would actually say that's fine. I would have put them that high, but compared to all the 3 other loss teams, I think they're one of the best. Colorado's 21. That's where I would put them a little bit. I put them over Texas, in my opinion, and put them over North Carolina. Because there's a difference between you have one loss. Like, let's say one team has 1 loss, one team has 2 losses. Well, you may think the one loss team is better, but depending on strength of record and stuff like that 2-loss team. But there's a huge gap between 0 losses and 3 losses, no matter strength. There's a huge gap there. So that's why I put Colorado a little bit higher, but oh well. Oklahoma State's 22, fine with me. If they won their last game, then they should definitely be in top 25 still, despite 3 losses. NC State's 23, fine with me. They're done with the season, which means NC State, unless a bunch of teams also get better and they're going to jump above, NC State will finish in top 25, which they haven't done that in a couple of years, so good for them. Tulsa, 24, fine with me. And then Missouri is 25th, which I thought was interesting because you put a 3-loss ACC team and 2 3-loss Big 12 teams, and so I'm like, where's the 3-loss SEC team? And there it is. But I mean, they're probably gonna get bad stuff with Georgia, anyways. But oh well. So there you go. There's the top 25. But now let me talk about BYU real quick. I will admit when I'm wrong, and I admit that BYU may have been a little overrated. Now, despite being a fan, I can admit when I'm, like I said, I can admit when I'm wrong. Now, I also gonna call like I see it. And I will also admit that I feel, despite the loss, that they're still the better team. And here's why. So Coastal Carolina's offense is so complex. Like, the triple option when Navy runs, Army runs. And you've seen them beat bad teams, but then we've seen them have really good quarterbacks. You can see them at their full potential, the best. Like Navy 2 years ago with Malcolm Perry was a top 25 team. They were 11-2. And then Army was 11-2 back in 2018 or wherever, and they had that really magical season. So you can see, and then Air Force was 11-2 last year. So you can see when they get the right players and right quarterback that triple option can be really effective. So imagine a good Navy team or a Team Air Force team. So imagine them running that scheme, but they can also pass, and they can pass efficiently. That's what Coastal Carolina does. Which means 2 days to prepare if that is not going to be enough time to prepare. So that's why I feel like if they had scheduled this game like a week in advance and like had more time to prepare, blah blah blah, especially since they had a bye week before, so if they could knew about it during their bye week, then I feel like this would be a much different story. Now, and you see them be against Navy, they can defend the triple option, but again, this is a more complex triple option with only 2 per. That's why. Now, I thought they should have just defaulted the defensive style they ran against Navy, but that's just bad coaching adjustment on the defense coordinator part. But they wanted to. And also, I guess the other problem is that I feel like now the offensive line underperformed to a degree. Against, like when it comes to pass protection, they didn't do a good job there. Now, against run blocking, I thought they did a pretty good job. As they should be with their physical and toughness and size advantage. So I thought BYU should just ran the ball, like Coastal Carolina was doing against them. Just run the ball, time and possession, use the clock, wear them out. But instead, they wanted to pass a lot. And when you don't complete a pass routine, you're going to give the ball right back to the Coastal Carolina offense, who's going to, again, milk clocks. So it's just kind of hard to make up the ground. So I thought that was bad play calling there. I thought, okay, instead of trying to pass to win, just run to win. But no. That's just my opinion. But again, I feel like with more time to prepare and stuff like that, the BYU wins this game. Because BYU's going to win this game 7 out of 10 times. Coastal Carolina just happened to win the 1 at times. But I'm glad BYU didn't drop too much in the rankings. And like I said, I think Coastal Carolina should be higher. Okay, so now to go over my top 10 teams in the NFL. I got a new number 1, and it's not Pittsburgh anymore since they lost. I'm going to have Kansas City as the best team right now. They got an interesting game against Miami coming up. I feel like whether they win ugly against a bad team or they win impressively against a good team, you can just see they have so many different ways to win that it's kind of unfair. Kansas City's offense is just too hard to stop. Whether even if you do hold them to 22 points, which is an accomplishment for their offense. I mean, they're still going to find ways to get a bunch of yards and score enough points to win the game. It's just hard. And whenever their defense plays well, then it's really hard. New Orleans at number 2. They're just playing really well, even with Taysom Hill. They're just playing really well. Um, they're the best team in the NFC right now, in my opinion. Third, I got Pittsburgh, but that's a soft third. Like they could easily jump down more. And just because, and that also depends on what happens with Buffalo this Sunday, who I have 4. The reason why I barely have Pittsburgh third is 1 loss, 3 loss, a big gap there. But like obviously, if Buffalo beats Pittsburgh, I'm gonna move them up, and I think Buffalo will beat Pittsburgh actually, because Pittsburgh doesn't have a run game. They're just gonna pass all the time, which means it's kind of easy to defend, if you will. Not easy to defend per se, because Juju Smith-Schuster, Chase Claypool, they're good receivers and stuff, but you just basically know what they're gonna do. And then on the Buffalo side, I feel like Josh Allen's kind of improved a lot, and with a couple of key injuries for Pittsburgh and the secondary being off and on, sometimes they're good, sometimes they're not. I feel like Buffalo right now, who's hot, team can take advantage. And Buffalo and win. And then 5, I got the LA Rams. I just love their defense is still just really good, and I feel like they're still in contention to win the NFC along with New Orleans and other teams. 6, I got Green Bay. Even though Green Bay is 1 less loss, I feel like Rams are better than Green Bay. Green Bay continues to find ways to look impressive against the bad teams, but again, I can't wait to see them play against a good team. Like I know they get the Colts coming up on their schedule, so let's see. No, they already faced the Colts. The Titans. They're facing the Titans towards the season, so I can't wait to see them against that scenario and see how they do. 7, I got Cleveland. So Cleveland has now finally entered the top 10. Congratulations, Cleveland. Now they face, who did they face? I think they have a bye week this week, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, I think they face the Ravens. Yeah, so they face the Ravens. So if they lose, they're easily going to fall back out of the top 10. But if they keep on winning, then you got to give them the respect that they deserve. I mean, that was an impressive game they put on against Tennessee. 8, I got Seattle. I know that was an uninspiring performance on Sunday, but let's face it, Seattle's offensive line is going to potentially hold them back from winning the Super Bowl. We thought it was going to be their defense. It still easily can be their defense, but right now it's their O-line that's holding them back. But everything else, you got to like about the team. At 9, I got Tampa Bay. I know they have 5 losses, but I just know they're a really good team, and with their easy schedule for the last 4 games, they're going to finish probably 11-5. If for some reason not the 10-6, which is still kind of a top 10 worth in my opinion. They have a really good defense, and I feel like they're going to get better, as I said. And then the last team, this was kind of hard to choose. I'm going to go with Tennessee for right now, just because, that even in the Cleveland game, they were outplayed in the first half. They came back second, made it very close. So they lost by 6, which is respectable versus what they would have lost if they would have just kind of thrown the towel and gave up. But they still have a running game that's hard to stop, and their defense, I know, is often not cold and hot, but when they're hot, they can be a really good team. So those are my top 10. I got Kansas City, New Orleans, Pittsburgh, Buffalo, LA Rams, Packers, Browns, Seahawks, Buccaneers, and Titans. Thank you very much for listening to my podcast today. Please subscribe to my channel and tell everyone about me. My next podcast will go over my picks for the week. Thank you very much, and y'all have a wonderful day.